Right then,
Your list.
my list, you've done me.
Here's your list.
Right then, so this is a Sunday check-in. A couple of tips on it as well, but it's a Sunday check-in. Tanya says, come on, come up here and do it. So she's done me a list here, so I'll do my best. I might have to pause on a couple of these things that we got to say and whatever. So yeah, lovely day here, as you can see, Tanya.
Beautiful.
There's no better place to be, Wales, when it's like this.
Life is better on the ranch.
Life is better. Oh yeah, just been given that T-shirt.
It's
Tanya,
been
just
Mac.
give me that. I like that actually. It is nice. Yeah, okay. So basically today, a couple of tips which I've just thought about now, because Tanya said, oh, come on, you need some more tips. But because she wants to say a load of stuff, so I've got a couple of tips, quite interesting ones, from questions I've been having. A couple of other little points from messages again we've been having. There is a surprise at the end.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So I'll get on now. I'm going to start with Mac. I've got a lot of people asking me. I pretty much thought with Mac, my horse, I was pretty much done as far as return of the Mac, because we've done 6 or 7 now. That's it now. I just like put a post on now and again. I'm getting on with them, but so many people said they've enjoyed his little journey so far. We're going to continue with that, but it won't be like return of the Mac. It'll be probably advancements of the Mac or something like that, because he's sort of returned now. So with that, I mean, the next time I'm riding properly, we're going to go down the beaches. So we're going to go down the beaches. I'll document that a little bit, because the way I take a horse to a beach, a little bit different than maybe some would, to try and get everything done smoothly and accepting for the horse and become a safe beach horse.
Nita! Nita!
Stand, horse, stand. She can't be bothered, can she?
Can't be bothered. Oh, just enjoy the rays.
So that'll be that with Mac, and then when I put the riding one on in the round school for the first time, I checked out what he knew. So I checked out, for me, how he bent, how he turned, how he stopped, his rein back, you know, all little things like that, his softness in his front end. So that's to the inside, now, 1, 2, yes. So that's good. Now I'm gonna inside on, 1, 2. I'm gonna gather myself up, ready. Then I'm gonna come back with my hands and try and release when it gives me some softness.
Well,
Wow, how about that? So we'll pick a bit of a soft feel up there. Yes. So what I'll do is I'll put some updates, but I'm gonna not go through the whole thing, all of those manoeuvres in the update. I'll pick one and show you how I advance with each one of those, because there's only about, it's all made too complicated, it's only about 6 manoeuvres. So I won't be making it technical. I found that was a big mistake with when I was learning all this. It's all too technical, too advanced. If you go to a clinic, a lot of clinics add too much on. We should condense a clinic into something, so you come away with that something good and understanding for both you and the horse. So I won't be mentioning things like shoulder in, shoulder out, travers and renvers. It's just all a bit too complicated. So I'll keep it really simple, and just condense them down so the average person can kind of get some, would you call it advanced horsemanship, advanced manoeuvres? But they're not really. They're quite simple if you break them down. So that'll be Mac. We'll be continuing with Mac as the year goes, and then hopefully you'll see him out and about at clinics mainly next year. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So that's that. Now, the other interest we've got, a huge interest at the moment. We put a video on a few days ago about the music was Whoa Black Betty, wasn't it? Oh Black Betty, that's one.
How did it go?
It wasn't
How did it go?
Betty. Whoa Black Betty.
Whoa, Black Betty, bam lamb. Whoa, Black Betty, bam lamb. Black Betty had a child, bam lamb. The damn thing gone wild.
Whoa, yeah.
It was the name of that horse is not Betty. It's Bessie.
Yeah.
Okay, Bessie. Now we are inundated, not just UK, Ireland. It's kind of worldwide that people who have watched that video and are asking and sending our messages just goes ping 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 ping. So what I'm going to do, I promise I'll be doing an update. So many people are asking how it's getting on already, and it's only been three or 4 days. So I have had a few little clips through from Georgie, not Georgia, Georgie. She sent me little snippets of how she's getting on already. So what I've asked her to do, keep sending me stuff, and I'm gonna, and also with the horse running in the field, because I've got a little bit. My update will be a videoed update, and it'll be have some little bit of music on where he's running and things like that. So it'll be a good update. Hopefully, it'll be a brilliant one. That'll be a couple of weeks' time. So that's that. So that everyone who's messaging, you will find out how things are going, and I will put a little snippet on now, just showing you so far. Just a little snippet, not all of it.
I got a kiss out of her.
So that's that. Now, I'm not very deep about stuff, to be honest. I'm really very plain and simple. So like I say, I'm not that deep to have said this, but Tanya read a message to me from an old friend, actually, who sort of got back in touch, and she'd watched a video with Bessie, and was quite touched by it. I mean, she's had horses sort of similar problems in the past, and it really touched her. And she sent a verse. I mean, when I was with Georgie, she was a little bit down, to be honest. The family is that they couldn't get, they've been quite a while trying to get somewhere with that horse, and it wasn't working, and they were a little bit down about it, understandably. And I tried to explain to her that this is just an amazing opportunity for them, and that it could be a godsend. And although that horse was a mountain to them, it's a mountain to them they've got to get over. They've got over that mountain now, and it was just weird how the message came through. And Tanya said, "Oh my God, you said so and so to Georgie, and this has been sent through." So,
Shall I read
said,
it? Shall I
Tanya
read
said
it?
she wanted to add it in. So yeah, okay.
Okay. One day the mountain that is in front of you will be so far behind you it will barely be visible in the distance. But the person you become in the learning to get over it, that will stay with you forever. And that is the point of the mountain. How lovely is that?
Yeah, it is good. It is good.
That's
who's
Dan.
this now?
That's Farrier.
That's my son-in-law. That is. He's a farrier. It's the best thing Charlotte ever did for me. Having a farrier. Yeah, that's him on his.
Is that why your
motorbike.
bike's over there? You're going for a ride
Well, we
after?
might be in a little while. So that mountain, we all have them mountains. We get so many messages, people, quite upset, quite down, and I'll be honest with you, I miss that part of my journey that I was on, and I still learn all the time. I think we learn. You need 2 lifetimes to learn this. That's what I was once told, and I agree. Can't learn it all in a lifetime. But I really miss where a lot of you are at. I used to love 20 odd years ago finding out all this new stuff, learning, having problems. Somehow the euphoria when you get over these little problems and get little things happening for you was brilliant. So I think the road going up to that mountain is, I'm kind of jealous really with a lot of people that are on that road and enjoying that journey of it. So although I still got stuff to learn, obviously, I'm sort of up towards the top of that now, and sometimes it can be a bit sparse at the top of the mountain, whereas coming up it, there's all that different greenery and pines and all nice stuff going up, and then it's a bit barren up there. So don't, we're all in that same boat of frustration, but you're on a journey, and enjoy the journey. Try and enjoy the journey best you can. And that's my bit of philosophy today, and I'm no philosopher at all. But yeah, okay.
Right then, so tips?
Tips, yeah, I thought a couple, just briefly. Right, the other day when we went on our mountain hack, me and Charlotte, we at the end of it, I just mentioned, because I was about to do it, about lifting a horse's back up when they're, you know, usually when they're 8 and above, especially an older horse, 15 plus, 20-year-olds, they start to get, you know, you see like a with a high one, with a high horse sometimes, and it's not really with a high, it's a dip back that's making that look like that. So they're sort of like this. It's a great thing. I learned it from a world-renowned horsewoman. I'll say the name, Leslie Desmond. I'm sure she won't mind. I learned it when she come to stay with me many years ago. We went out riding, and I'd got a horse. I think it was. It might have been Buck actually, and he got a dip back coming. And she said, "You want to start working on that?" So she showed me, and I've done it ever since. And I can honestly say, especially in Spain, you do it often enough after rides, before rides, and it even gets to the stage where you'll go into the stable, and sometimes they'll sort of lift up for you. It's weird, and it can also help when you put your legs on. When you put your legs on a horse, it'll bring the back up when you're riding, which is what we want to promote. It's a little bit more technical, but that's what we want to promote. So I'm going to show that now, how to get it started. You've got to watch. If you think for a second your horse is going to cow kick with this, get someone else to do it, because someone experienced sometimes needs to do this. Just keep a check. If the horse starts swishing its tail and he's getting unsure, stop and get someone else to do it. But I'm going to show exactly how I get that done now, fittingly for the horse. All right. So what I'm going to do actually, not only show it on Nita. They're not brushed off, these horses. They're just come up here now. You see it as it is. They're in the stables now. I'm going to go into each stable, and I'm thinking this as I'm going along now, because I was just going to show it on Nita. I'm going to show each one the process of how to lift a horse's back prior and after a ride, or even when you just go in the stable if you want to, if it's a dip back. I'm going to show it on each one, so Tanya can walk in the stables and I can show each one. Now Darcy, Charlotte's little pony, has never had it done. Never done it. As far as I can remember, I've never done it. I can't remember ever doing it. So that'll be a first. So I'll show that as well, because he might get a little bit upset, say, what are you doing under there? So we'll turn that off now. I'm going to put Nita in the stable, and then I'm going to go into Nita and then into the other one and show on each one how to get this done, because it is a great thing to know. All right?
Yeah.
Right then, so we'll start with Nita. Now, she is getting on now. She's 16 now. As I say, guys, I haven't brushed these horses off, but that's it, you see it as it. Now, she's 16 now. Her back's not that bad, really, but when you first teach this, and it will be with Darcy in a minute, but I'll show you on each one of them how it works. So, can you get under it? Basically, when you're teaching them this, as I get a response in the back, as the back lifts, right, as the back lifts up, so basically, Tanya, you've got to film that and then this.
Okay.
Too, right? as the back lifts up, starts to lift up, you quit a little bit, right? And just smooth your hand round. So I'll show. So you've got to have a lead rope on. You've got to have someone watching you the first time to show any signs of kicking, right? Now I know they're not going to kick me, but you don't know that, so you have to be careful. So right in the centre of the stomach, which should be not back in the flank, centre is about there, and that's where our legs will come down, right? So it's roughly where your legs will be in the saddle, because eventually it helps with lifting with your legs. So if you're not blessed with the longest legs, it's a bit more difficult. But the average horse I ride is small horse, quarter horses. These cutting and reining bred horses, they're quite small. That's how they were designed, so cowboys can get on and off, and they're quite nimble and quick. So I'm lucky, my legs have come down quite low, and I can lift the back with the legs eventually. So that's where this also helps, not just the reason of the backs. So I'm in the centre there. Now I use a pen top to start with. Eventually it's just my hand, right? Eventually it's just my hand or my fingers, right? But I use a pen top
Or pencil.
or pencil or anything. So I'm in the centre. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to gently go round gently, which won't get a response. And then I'm going to push up a little bit, and I'm looking for a response in the back to go up. Okay? So I'm going to go round a little bit, then I'm going to push, but I'm going to take it off and just go round slowly when it goes up, right? So she's got a release from the pushing, but still knowing I'm there to keep it up. Right, so I'm going to go round, and then I'm going to push up and go round and round. There, and it's up. See the back's up, Tom?
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell her how good she is. So then it will come back again. So I'm going to go round. It's not up. Then I'm going to push and go round, and there it's up. Now I've stopped. Oh, I've stopped. Now I'm doing it again. It's up. Now I've stopped. Ah, now she's up. Look. So, do you think you got that?
Yep.
So basically you go round, and then you push and go round, but as you're pushing and going round, as the back goes, you just go round without the push. So you're just making it aware that you're under there. Now eventually, it's either your legs underneath that can do it when you're riding, or my fingers. She's used to my fingers more than the pen. Can you see that back there?
Yeah.
You see how that is there? Now that, I do every time I ride a horse, and come in here sometimes. Like when I'd learnt about this, I used to go into my old horse Bucks, and I'd go in and I'd go to do it, and he'd go, oh, and it promotes lifting of the back, and they do it enough that it starts to pick an old, like sagging back. You can get another inch out of it. I mean, it's a good thing, right? So that's how to do it. Now I'm going to go and do it on Molly. I've done it on Molly once, which people saw the other day. That was it, one time. So remember, there's an opportunity now for me to send Molly back with quality, so I don't miss anything. So I'm going to ask her and tut, look at her feet, release, release, send that shoulder there, and that one there, and that one there. Send it back and send it back. So I haven't wasted, that's just, I don't waste, and in fact, you won't be able to get there, will you? So now that shoulder, so I'm playing with the feet here, and there, good girl. Right, get that one foot there. You want them squared up if you can, the best you can for this. Okay, so she's only had this one done once after the hack. You want to go there, Sam?
Yep.
Okay, so again, I've got the lead rope in case I need it. All right, so I can if she went to get upset with the tail swishing or anything, I could sort something out. So I'm going to go into the middle, and I'm going to do the round, and then push and round, and then take it off, but keep going around a bit when she's up. Okay, so I'm looking at it. She's got a good back, to be honest. Right, so I'm in the centre. So I'm going to go round, nothing, push and round, she's up. She swished her tail a little bit, so this is what, that's good. So basically, I'm just going round, she's still up, and she said, now, did you film that?
Yes.
Right, that's what can happen the first time you do it. Now I'm going to keep doing this till she accepts that. Okay, so I'm going to go under, and I'm going to take it up, which it's up there. Yes, she's switched her tail. Now she's accepting. Now, tell her how good she is. That's it. That's it. Right? Now, eventually, they thank you for this. Okay, so I'm going to go under again. I'm going to just go round. And now I'm going to go up. And she's gone up. No swishing. Oh, that's lovely. She's accepting that. So now I'll tell her how good she is. So you've just seen that because it has to be weird for them to have that underneath there. They're wondering what it is. So that's what you have to be careful of. Get someone to do it if you're not sure. Last time, I'm going to go under. Now I'm not going to use the pencil. I'm going to go under with my hand. I'm going to look and I'm going to ask this to go up. Yes. And then I'm just moving my hand a little bit to say, stay up. Lovely. So I'm glad that happened. To demonstrate, you have to be a little bit careful because they can cow kick up thinking it's something under their belly that they're not sure of. So that's good. So that's that one. Tanya, did you do that up?
Who, me?
Right, let's go on to Mac. Right.
Come on, you. Roxy out.
So again, Phil. Yeah. So again, I'm not wasting.
Oh, can I just mention
What?
Mac's lovely halter? We were
Yeah.
gifted that.
Right.
Knots of halters.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Didn't know that, but there you go. Thank you. Right, so, okay. So do you want to come in there? Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't need my, I've done this a couple of times with him, so I don't need my my pen top. So, got the halter. I'm going to just give him a little rub. I'm going to come underneath. I'm looking at the back. Again, he's got a good back. So I'm going to just send my hand round, now round and up. And he hasn't come up much, but he's up a little bit. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. So I'm just going round. Tell him how good he is. You'll probably see that sink a little bit. He's got a great back, actually. You know, it's when they're down a bit that you'd want to be doing this more. But I'll go in one more time, round. I think he's come up slightly there. Now up and there. Can you see it up?
Oh, do you know what? You couldn't do my back, could you?
Then days are gone, Dan.
My back's a bit
Then
dippy.
days are gone, I think. Right, okay, so let's go to Darcy.
Come on, Roxy, out you go.
Let's go to Darcy.
Come on.
Right, you might have to come in here again. Right, so again, I'm not going to waste anything. Release for that foot, release for that. Send him over there. Forward, hindquarters, stop. Right, so I don't waste anything. Everything on the end of the lead rope has meaning and it's all part training. Right, now his back, I've never done this with him. Right, I've never done this that I can remember. So this will be interesting. Now he can be quite opinionated. Do you want to just go over a bit, Tom? He can be quite opinionated. So well, this will be interesting again. So I'm aware of tail swishing, I'm aware of cow kicking. So I'm going to go to the centre, I'm looking at the back line. Can you see the back line, Tom? Mm-hmm. So centre, I'm going to move my hand around, that's fine, he's good with that. Because by moving your hand around, it'll tell you a lot about how they're going to be. Now I'm looking at the back line, now I'm going to press up and, oh, he's come up a little bit. And he's fine, I'm just moving my hand. Oh yes, that was good. So tell him...
Charlotte, you need to brush your pony.
Yeah, well, right. So it's dipped back again. Now this is the first time ever, but I think you'll learn more from Molly about what how they can express themselves when they do that. So I'm under, I've rubbed. Now I'm going to go up and rub, and it's come up. See, oh, that's nice. Now I'm just rubbing gently with a bit of pressure, and it's up. And he's quite enjoying that. There, and then let it go. So these have all got pretty good backs, but you'll notice a big difference with those with the sagging. They look like they're high withered with a sagging back. You'll really notice that comes up. And if you do that enough, you will gain a little bit of lift. All right, fella. All right, fella. Right, okay. All right. So that's that tip. And now I'm going to take this off him. And I'm just going to wait there for a little give. But don't waste anything. Good. So, done the lifting of the backs. I hope some people will be able to learn that, but like I say, such a safety first. And nowadays, be careful with that. And some horses, if they're really dull, they'll be the opposite and won't lift. So then you have to press a bit harder and just wait for one response. But be persistent. Just keep doing it, pressing up, and they'll search, and then suddenly you'll see a bit of a lift, quit for a bit, let that sink in. So you can get that done. I'm sure you'll get that done. Now the other tip is, and we've touched on this a million times in the videos, about horses siding up to a mounting block. And I still get people, loads of people, can I demonstrate it to make it easier for them? Because it doesn't work for a lot of people. So although this is not the way I do a lot of my siding up, I've worked out a way that the average person can start this siding up, and it's a fantastic thing to have for a horse to pick you up from a fence, from a rock, from when you're out on a gate, whatever it is, right? But it starts at home. So I want to show you an easy way to start the siding up process. Okay, it's not quite how I do it myself, but the way I do it is a little bit more difficult for people and the horses to pick up if you don't know what I know. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'll explain, say if this is where you're going to practice your siding up, where I put that there. So this is a place that the horse has to feel comfortable. So we have to use our human intelligence to think what motivates the horse, okay? What motivates Molly? And near enough, all horses are motivated by peace and quiet, rest, tranquility, okay? So what I would start with, wherever you're gonna side your horse up, I would work your horse, do something, disengaging, lunging, whatever you feel comfortable doing with your horse, teaching them to back up, whatever it is. So there's a bit of mental pressure away from the place where you're going to side up.
Do you want to just move that over a little bit?
Why?
The step. That's,
All right.
Yeah, just move that over a little bit there.
Yeah,
there you
there?
go. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so you must do something with your horse where it's moving its feet. And you can do it for as long as you want. If you want to lunge a horse for quite a while, or groundwork a horse for quite a while, or take them for a trot around. Oh, yeah, there you go. You could trot a horse out, or even if you hack a horse out. So that horse really is wanting a little bit of a break and a rest. How easy is this, guys? Just bring your horse to this spot where you want them and do zero. Just leave them alone. Leave them alone right in the place you wanna get on. Okay, that's number one. So okay, a good one is after a hack. After a hack, or if you've been in the school, and it's such common sense, and we're just not told it. Let your horse rest by your mountain areas, and let it really know. And if you do it enough, that every time you finish with the movement of the horse, whether you're hacking, groundwork, lunging, bring them to the place where you want to get on. So say if you've got a gate down here, at the end of your driveway or wherever it is, you'll be getting on, or your mountain block is somewhere, go and let them rest there. Rub on them, make it nice, put a hay net there for them. So that's number one. So the horse has already got an idea, that's a good place to be. Then, simply, all we're going to do, I'm going to use my flag for it now. We're going to basically tap on the horse, not to cause pain, just keep tapping till we get a hind quarter to come the way we want. And we'll keep tapping if it doesn't go the way we want. So Molly's a good one to show this to, because she had a problem of siding up when Charlotte got her. Her old owner told us she owned the mountain block. She would not go to mountain block. You'd get her face on, and then she would always move her hind end away. Quite a problem it was, and I had to help Charlotte on that at the start. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my flag, but I'm not going to use the flag part of it. I'm just going to use it as not to worry her, and to just give her an incentive to move over. Okay, so it's like, this is like a little crop really, but without wanting to hurt, you know, like frighten her with the flag side of it, because you have to get a horse used to a flag first before you do this. So I've just put a little hair bubble over that for now. Okay, right, so I've got my flag. I'm going to bring her,
Hair bobble or elastic band.
yeah, so I'm going to bring her off here now. Right, so I'm going to say I've done the resting side of it. I've done the movement, and then I can bring her to there, and that's about one more foot. Yeah, that's about it. So that's where you would rest her. So you've been on your hack, you've done your little bit in the schooling. Let them rest where you want to be getting on, wherever it is. There might be a few places. Let them get used to knowing that's a good spot, and you can brush on them, give them the hay nut like I said, and all of that sort of thing, right? So once that's pretty good and they sort of go there themselves a little bit, that's stage one done, right? Now the other stage is you've got to have a cue for them to bring their hind end the way that you want it to come, which is to the left, with the way we side up. So I'll deliberately bring her in the wrong way. Now we've done this a few times, so I didn't really want that easily. So I'll bring her back now. Right, now I'm going to lift this.
Charlotte's going to have something to say about Molly.
What?
She's so dusty.
Right.
Never
I didn't
mind.
want her to side up that well actually, because I wanted to be able to tap and show you. Well, I'll try it again. But now I've actually put her here, I don't want to move her straight away. It's kind of like letting her down, so I am just telling her that's a good place to be for now, right? So at least she knows a little bit. So she knows I'm getting off here. I'm going to wait till she softens in her jaw now. There, she just softened a little bit. So, I'm hoping she doesn't come all the way round. Oh, that's great, that's great. Oh, no, it's not, she's coming. So basically, I can't, right, she stopped. Right, so I'm gonna tap, 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 tap. She's coming. I'll back her up a bit. Right, she's coming.
Lovely.
See, that's all you have to do is keep tapping and stop when they come this way, and then let them rest when they're there. And it's the easiest way to teach a horse to side up. There's only two things you've got to do. Two things. One is let them know it's a good place to be after work, and two is tap, tap, tap till it goes, till the hindquarters go the correct way. So when you're out and about, and you've maybe got your flag with you, because I carry them everywhere, then just extend your flag, tap, 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 tap. Oh, and then she came in. Oh, look at that. So that's the easiest way for any person to teach siding up. And just do that enough, and unless your horse is completely dull as a brush, and there are those, like there is people, like me, with certain things, you don't pick it up. So I'm going to do one more time with it, then I'll get another horse and show you with another horse. So, come into the side nut block. I'm clucking. And then touch. That's the little touch there. That's a bit more advanced, but you can get to where you can touch them, take it off, and that's where they stop. And that's I've tried to build that a little bit for Charlotte into her. But that's our side nut. And that's the start of that side nut. So I hope that answers the question for a lot of the messages we've been getting about the side nut. The easiest way is this way for the average person who's never done it. Okay? I'll get another horse now. This is where it heads. Lovely job. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention was I got a lot of people asking if I start their horses. Right, literally hundreds of people asking me to break their horses. I'm not breaking, I don't have time for breaking horses for people anymore. I've done a lot of it, and I've learnt a system how to break a horse, which I think is the best way. Obviously, us horsemen, we learn, and we always think our way is the best way because that's why we do it. I do things a lot differently than some of the ways I was taught, and I'm not saying any way is wrong, it's all wrong, but it's what you end up with which tells you. And the way I start horses, I really believe in the way I start them. I get very few swishing tails, very willing horses, pinned ears are not there, you know. So I know there's a saying: observe, remember, and compare. A lot of horse people will know what that means. It comes from Tom Dorrance, the original Tom Dorrance, Ray Hunt, Bob Brannaman. They always use that term: observe, remember, and compare. And the observing is watching a lot, you see a lot. Remembering, I've got a great memory for remembering things that interest me. I've got a terrible memory for
So
stuff.
basically, you remember everything about horses, but nothing about anything else.
Anything else.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so observe and remember. Now the comparing is the important bit, and that's where a lot of people, not of their own fault, don't have lots and lots of horses to compare with. They might have 1, 2, 3 or 4 horses. It's not enough. You know, I've worked thousands of horses, and the horsemen that start to get this really good, it's the comparing, which is what got them there. All the different horses, and comparing not only the horses, comparing the methods, the ways, and seeing results. And I've compared now enough for me to work out my system of starting. So what I thought was, with all the questions about how to start young horses, how to restart horses, I'm gonna be looking for a young horse, I think, to break. And I don't want one that's really, you know, low energy or really spooky. I want one about middle of the road. So I'll use the same system pretty much for the two, if you can understand what I'm saying. Because they're slightly different for a really spooky horse, slightly different for so if we get one run of the mill, it's pretty much gives you a good idea how I'd be starting them right through the process of what I do the first day, how I'd let them settle in, what I'd be looking for, how I go through the process of how I start a colt. Break a horse, people call it, I call it starting. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be doing a series of how I would start a young horse, you know, my methods, and see the progression of that horse. So I think that's going to be really interesting for people. So that's another thing that's due. Okay, I thought I'd say that I'm looking for one now to start right from scratch, never been ridden, and how I would do it. So I think some people will look forward to that, how I would go about that. Okay, so that I wanted to just say that's on the cards now, and for the near future.
One.
Okay, so what's next?
We have a lot of questions about the ties. We were going to mention about the ties.
Loads and loads of messages. We're literally selling hundreds of these ties now, and that's a great thing. If there's one thing I so believe in, it's not tying horses solid, not tying them to string, because that can cause horses to be pullback horses and dangerous. And farriers can't really tie to string because they can have problems.
People at shows have ripped the sides of lorries off and all sorts.
Yeah, there's so many reasons that I believe in the ties, these ties, and I've made my point over and time again, and people are starting to listen, and we're literally sending them out every day to people. But we get a lot of people, they absolutely love their ties, and not 100% sure. There's a little bit of a explanation on a little A3, A4, and it's better, rather than me keep answering questions about the ties that are going out, I'm just going to demonstrate again. There is, on one of the tips videos, there's a small demonstration, but I'm going to, you know, show how we're using them and answer some of the questions that people keep asking us about the ties.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain all the different. Okay, so that's basically a tie. Comes a little two-way click connector there. Okay, really light. It's literally, you can't feel it.
Lots of different colours.
Yeah, lots of. Right. So why am I so for the ties? Now, I use them. For, all of us do. We use them for every tie situation on the ranch, right? We never ever tie a horse to anything but these. We tie horses in the lorry.
There's one on the lorry over there.
But we tie them in the lorry.
Yeah.
Tie them in the lorry with them, clip them on. In a lorry, there's a lot of accidents that happen in travelling. There's people been going to clinics I've gone to and they've never got there, or they've had accidents. And nearly all the time, the accidents are caused by tying in a lorry, right? Or tying somewhere. So many accidents. I know people who have lost horses for tying solid to gates and things like that. Okay, I've seen sides of lorries ripped out by tying to string, because string sometimes is so blooming strong they don't break. So any situation we use them, because basically they can never get panicked enough to cause a problem. So if they pull back through a spook, the horse, fight or flight, if a horse cannot flee with his legs, if he can't move his legs, he will fight, which means he will pull back. That is his fight and flight. Okay, so the flight and fight comes in. He will pull back with such force, he will break usually whatever it's tied to, whether it be string, bang, broke. Whether it be to something else, pull back, break. If it doesn't break and it's solid and they panic enough, they will hurt their neck so bad. The vertebrae in the neck can be damaged. You can have damaged heads. You've probably seen horses going around cocked with a cocked head. Loads of that comes from tying. I've been in the States at clinics where they've tied solid along a fence line. Lovely job all there, and then suddenly there's commotion and the blooming fence has come down. Horses hurt. I see it all the time. Now, what can often happen with a horse, it can get its head underneath. We've all seen it. It will go over the head like that. Then they panic and throw their head up, and then there's problems. If that happens here, it actually happened with Mac bringing him back from the mountain the other day. We've got a camera in the back. He put his head there, put his head up, and it just came out. And then he put his head, because it released a little bit, put his head back, fine, carried on eating. That would have been a right fright for him if it hadn't been for one of those. So that gives you an idea of why we don't want to cause pullback horses. And that's what tying to string can do. Few breaks as a youngster, few breaks, and they are convinced when that panic comes in, they pull, the pressure comes on in the halter, they know if they pull hard enough, they've got their flight back, so that by snapping the rope, they've got their feet, all is well again. So they will always do it. Problem never completely goes away if you've got a pullback horse that's dangerous and will pull back. They've actually got so much better with these, because they start to realise that when they get a little bit worried, the pressure comes in, they go to move, and they find they can move because this will release a little bit. So that gives you a brief of why I'm so into them. I have never had, in 20 years of using special ties, I have not had a pullback horse. I'm going to touch wood here. I haven't had accidents through them, through tying, and I haven't had to do all the damn knots. The knots are an absolute nightmare. I mean, I'm reasonably good at a couple of types of knots, but I've tried to teach people knots, and I've had ladies in tears trying to do it. They're trying to do it, and it just isn't. So that gives you a brief of why I think everyone should have them. But there you go. So that's them. Now, how do we use them? Okay, which is what the questions are very often. So we got typical example Mac here. He's got his little tie on. Now you can either leave your clips. These clips come with the tie, right? You can ask for more clips. And you can put a clip all over the place, wherever you think you're going to tie your horse. Lorry, trailer, outside the stables, which then means you can just take your tie, which they are so light, I leave them on the lead ropes now. I leave them on the lead ropes. And I even sometimes use the clips on, and so I can clip to the saddle or clip to the lead rope there. Well, you know, they're really handy, the clips to have. Right then, so this is going to be really easy to understand, really easy. Now, there's the tie, there's the rope, any of your lead ropes. So if it goes in, if you put it through the front, that's going through the front there, look, and over the back there, that is what's called heavy drag. So if you want your horse to be, if your horse is a bit pulley, then that clipped on will be a lot more tougher. Like that's quite tough there, but if it pulled back, it would come out. Can you see it coming out? Mm-hmm. Now if you wanted it more heavier than the heavy, you just take that round a few times. There's 1, there's 2. Right, now I'm going to pull back. Right, that's pretty heavy there, but you could go as many times as you want if you've got a big Shire horse and it does. But eventually they won't want to bother. Right, so that's heavy. Now, there's 2 ways you can either make it lighter. 2 ways. One is simply turn it around, right? That now is going from the back in, and that now is lighter. Look, that's lighter. Again, if it's too light, you just flip that round a few times to wherever you want. That's a bit heavier now. That's a bit heavier, but it's still quite light. Right, so you can either flip it round, or if you don't want to flip it round, you just go in from the back, which is what, I'll show you that, right? Although that's, now I've flipped it around, it's coming from the back. But if you've got your tie and you want it light, it just comes in from the back. And that's how easy it is. So I think that'll explain to people, you know, how to use these. They're absolutely brilliant, guys. No horse accidents.
And we send, you know, I send them everywhere.
They go into...
Oh, Australia, New Zealand, Canada.
It's unbelievable. But I'm glad.
America.
Yeah, but I'm glad.
Denmark.
Yeah. Right.
Ireland.
So that's the top. So I think that's about it. That's Sunday's little update about things. Yeah.
Well, I think what we thought was, because we've been so overwhelmed with the page, you know, it's only been on just over 2.5 months. All the positive comments and the messages are fantastic.
Yeah.
We thought we'd give a little bit back. So this is what we'd like to do. If you would like to come and stay for the day with us, or Steve, right, you know,
And Charlotte.
and Charlotte.
So it's 2 days, 1 night.
Well, you come. So you
2
come.
days, 1 night, we say.
You can ride up the mountain. You can ride on the beach.
Round school.
You can just have lessons in the round school. You can come on your own with a horse or without a horse. You can come with a friend or without a friend, and you know,
Stay here.
Stay here the night.
Stay here.
We cook dinner.
You can have a little band for the bar.
Yeah.
Like the all-inclusive
Yeah,
thing.
no, yeah. The bar's on
Tanya
us.
Cook a meal.
I'll
Just
cook a
be
meal.
nice.
And
for someone
you
to
know,
come.
if you, obviously, if you want to bring your horse, that's amazing. But if you don't have a horse,
doesn't matter.
if you just want to come and chat, that's perfect as well.
Yeah.
So you know what we would
Ride
like
the
you to do.
mountain or whatever.
Yeah, anything. So what we would like you to do, what we'll do, we'll pick somebody, you know, in a few weeks at random.
Live, you said.
Yeah, live. We'll do it live. So what we'd like you to do is like Steve Young Horsemanship page.
Yeah.
You share, and then you comment what you'd like to do. Tag your friend. Comment on there what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a beach ride? Do you want to just chill in the bar watching horse DVDs? You know, whatever you want to do. Steve, this is their day. So
Yeah.
you got to do whatever they want.
Yeah. So,
Want.
right, I've just been collared now. I just thought I'd finished everything. Tanya said we missed something out, right? And I think she's right. I've got a lot of people overseas who are watching our videos. They call it over the pond, don't they? Over the pond, Tanya?
Over the pond.
Over the pond.
And Australia.
Yeah, all over the place.
Cyprus.
Which is great. But if anybody like comments, shares, and whatever, Tanya said.
If anybody does, because we ask people to like, share,
Yeah.
and then comment. Don't think you're missing out.
No, you're not missing out, because unless, obviously, if
You want to come?
you want to come and somehow can get a flight in this whatever's going on
Then
now.
we may extend the stay.
Yeah, it might be a longer stay.
Yeah.
But if you can't get over here, which I do doubt you would, then obviously the main prize will go to the runner-up, but we'll still send out, I don't know...
A tie and a flag.
Couple of ties.
And a flag.
Couple of flags.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I love this.
Life is better at the ranch.
Yeah. So we'll send those out as well. You'd have to tell us your size. Is there anything else we can send out? Can't think of anything. There'll probably be other things, right? So, yeah. So they wanted me to add that in. So even if you're away, overseas, miles away from us, we're all
Still like,
together, really.
Share,
aren't we?
comment, what
All
you'd
right.
love to do.
I'm
on
off
that day.
now. Okay. Bye. The other thing was people asking about clinics, me going and doing clinics.
Yeah.
Remember, I've only been up 2.5 months with this. I am gonna do clinic. I'm gonna do some later in this year here. I'm gonna do some within sort of West Wales at a couple of venues. I'm not going further afield this year. The year's going to be out before we know it. And so, yes, we'll be doing them. Next year will be the year of the clinics. That's when I become a proper clinician next year. And I've got to hone my skills of doing it because it's not easy to go and do these clinics. So this year it'll be getting me used to doing them. And then next year, it's sort of UK really. I've got lots and lots of different venues next year to go to, show what I do, show how I can help.
We do. You obviously you
people.
go out to Horses, and people can come here for a couple of hours.
Oh yeah.
So we have sessions
Yeah,
here as well.
Yes, but next year I'll be travelling more for clinics, and also there's a few abroad as well. Believe it or not, I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll end up going, but we've got them from all over.
All
People
over.
asking me to go.
New Zealand,
yeah, everywhere.
Cyprus.
So that's it. That is the end now, Tanya.
Yeah, that's it
It's
then.
done now. So yeah, catch you in the week. We'll have something, I'm sure. Okay, see you guys.